These are the 7 levels for building a home service business from nothing to a $100 million machine. They're the same levels that I went through to go from working 7 days a week by myself to owning a 98 employee, 8-figure business that ran whether I was there or not. I still use this 7-step framework today to help my clients scale their home service businesses past $1 million. So if you're thinking, this may not work for me, believe me, it will. Most trade businesses stall or fail completely because they try skipping straight to level 3. In this video, I'm going to show you what level you're on and walk you through the proper order for building your business so you don't waste years and hundreds of thousands of dollars doing it the wrong way. All right, let's start with level 1. Here you're a solo operator. You're a master electrician, maybe starting your own business as an electrical contractor. You've got enough business to completely fill your schedule and then some. But then you hit a ceiling. Suddenly working 60 to 80 hours isn't growing the business anymore. It's just burning you out. This is what's going on. The skills required to break through this first level have absolutely zero things to do with your work ethic or your skill as a tradesman. To reach level 2, your identity has to begin to start shifting from the operator who works in the business to the architect who starts designing the business. Now, that's a big shift. This new identity requires a new set of skills, like learning how to delegate, learning how to manage people. But relax, you don't need to learn everything all at once. You just need to start tackling things in the right order, and that's exactly what I'm gonna show you here in this video. Let's start by doing some math. On your own as an electrical contractor, you have an annual gross profit of, say, $250,000 a year, but you're working 60 hours a week, which is 3,120 hours every year. That effective hourly rate is 80 bucks. Now think about those 60 hours a week. How many of them are you actually spending getting jobs, pulling wire? And how many are spent sending invoices or responding to emails or trying to figure out all the freaking licenses and the paperwork that comes with a new business? Those things don't generate revenue. They're not worth that 80 bucks an hour of your time. Here's the key. You're not gonna hire people to grow your business. You gotta shift the mindset to hire people so that you get your time back so that you can grow the business. This is where most guys would go out and hire another electrician. That's like kindling a little flame of your business and then suffocating it by throwing a bunch of wet logs on top of that fire. Sounds weird, right? But instead of getting overeager and trying to do everything all at once, we're just going to move to level 2. And level 2 is not go hire another electrician or two. It's the office. Do you know the difference between a business and a job? A job requires you to be present to make money. A business can make money regardless of whether you're there or you're on vacation. Right now you have a job, but you want a business. Level 2 is the foundation where we start to build that business. We start in the office because here we get easy wins, and the mistakes, they don't cost as much if we make one. Now here's the thing about the back office, okay? What we're trying to do there is get you out of this crap that's way below 80 bucks an hour. In the back office, there's things like send the invoice to Mrs. Smith, who you were in her house 3 weeks ago and she still hasn't paid because you haven't given her the invoice. That kind of stuff can be done by somebody at 12 bucks an hour, 15 bucks an hour. So the important thing about the back office is you need to recognize what it is that's below your pay grade, like your threshold of what you can earn doing what you do best. And when any of that stuff is still on your to-do list, you're not able to graduate to the next level. How much administrative and back office stuff are you doing? Fielding phone calls, sending emails, sending invoices. If that stuff still fills your to-do list, you're not ready to move on. Just like I wouldn't try to wire that house, you could do that way better than I can. There's other people that do those things that play at the things that are real work for you. So you find those people and you plug them into your business so that your 80 bucks an hour time isn't spent responding to a voicemail or setting up an appointment. But as soon as you've effectively checked it off and delegated it to somebody else, you're ready to move in to level 3. Level 3 is the field. Now this is where you're actually providing the service to your clients that they want you for. So the electrician, you're wiring a house. If you're a plumber, you're making sure the shit runs downhill and connecting all the pipes and there's no leaks, all that stuff. Most business owners try to hire here first, because they're working around the clock and they want to offload some of that pressure to another electrician. And it makes sense because you are an electrician, you feel comfortable talking to an electrician, and you see that the more hands that are pulling wires means you have to pull them less. But every time you add another electrician as the first hire that you bring in, or the second or the third or the fourth, and you continue to bring in more people out in the field, before you have a foundation, You may get to skip the learning curve that comes with training other people how to run the office because you're training people out in the field, which is more of your lane. That's more your speed. But you still are dealing with payroll, and you don't have any new skills with running payroll or documenting SOPs or micromanaging. And every 2 weeks, you still got to put everything on pause so you can go get payroll out and stay on top of it. But fortunately, if you follow this process, you've built some of the office first. And now you have someone that can run payroll for you. You have someone that can help you create and manage documentation and SOPs. Now, with more people in the field, you actually can double the output and take care of twice as many customers. This is where growth doesn't seem to suck as bad. But if you add an electrician or a plumber into the field before you have any bandwidth supporting you, that's more operational chaos. Just think about this for a second. It's just you. You're working your ass off. So you bring somebody else in. Now you got another payroll to make. Hits twice as much money. Now you got their pay and you want to make some money too. So what do you need? You need more jobs. So you go out and you try to get more jobs. That's time you're not spending, pulling wire in a house, and it's time you're out doing other tasks to try to bring in more revenue. And let's say you're successful and you land a couple of jobs because you know what you're doing. You know how to get more work. You know, you got a lot of people in your network. So you land a few new jobs. Now you have twice as many invoices to send. Now you have twice the amount of money in collections, and your payroll, it's still just as high. Do you see how doing this out of order doesn't help you grow your business faster? It does help you grow your chaos a lot more. Now you're dealing with more fires. Now you get more and more pulled into reaction mode to where you're not actually growing your business and you're just running around like a chicken with your head cut off. The next level 4, I call it customer success. I like to call it success because when your customers are successful, you're delivering a product, they're happy, they talk about it. They want you to come back. There's a lot of components when you get into this customer division, this customer success or service. But when you are not pulling wire on every job, you have a little more space now to go and inspect your crew's work from above. Now you can gauge if your customers are actually satisfied. But before you can scale any further, you want to make sure that you're providing your customers with the best results possible and that your employees continue to grow that goodwill as if they were you. Little mirror images of you out in the field doing the same things that you would do. You don't want old Mrs. Smith telling all of her friends how Johnny walked all over the white carpet with his muddy boots. Instead, you have time and space to create checklists. You make sure you get 5-star reviews. You got Mrs. Smith wanting to bake you cookies instead of bitching about you to her friends. So with level 4 dialed in, you now start looking at the demand that you have on you and your business in level 5, which is marketing. Until this point, your jobs probably come mostly from word of mouth and the relationships you have with other contractors. Maybe some referrals too. But you've got the infrastructure now that you can start looking at marketing services. Maybe it's time to hire somebody and bring them in-house and actually work in marketing by your side so that you can start attracting the kind of customers that you want. Maybe instead of working just for general contractors, you want to get 50% of your business coming from homeowners where your rate can be a little bit higher. Maybe it's time just to go out to a third party and hire an advertising agency or one of those guys. But if you skip ahead to this step, before you're ready, you can blow a lot of cash when all you end up with is a bunch of angry customers because you burned through your cash reserves, you weren't ready to service them, you couldn't take care of the customers the way that you would have because you were running around now with more chaos to try to manage. Do you see how these levels start adding up? That if you do one before the other, there's a foundation to work from. If you do one ahead of or out of order, things start to get pretty damn shaky. When you're ready to work on level 5, you can start creating a demand engine that actually brings phone calls into you. That could mean getting into content creation, that could mean running ads, that could mean setting up your Instagram account, things you may not have ever had time to do up to this point just yet. But as your pipeline starts to fill up faster, now you're going to need some help closing some of those contracts and turning that inquiry or that opportunity into an actual sale or an actual job. Sales is the next level at 6. Hiring sales is the second to last level of this pyramid. The reason it's second to last is because these guys are never going to be as good as you when you bring a third party in or some outside person in to your company to sell. Even if you're the most shy, reserved person on earth, you're still going to know what you do and speak with more authority and integrity than anybody else out there. So you want to hang on to this because you're always going to get better results. But that's not the reason. Because still, we want to get this business to the point where it's a business and you do not have to be present to make an income. The second reason this is so high in the pyramid is because problems here can be very, very expensive. Imagine this. You bring somebody in. You incentivize them to make sales, to take the quotes or the calls that come in from your website, like marketing you did in the level below, and you want them to turn it into signed contracts for work orders, for jobs to be completed. They are now motivated to get the signature on the dotted line. Do you think it's possible that someone that may not have quite as much integrity as you, who doesn't know the details or the nuances of your business like you, do you think they might just bend the truth a little bit from time to time to make that extra commission check? Yeah, okay, it happens all the time. So when you have someone out there selling under your name, you risk ruining all the goodwill you've been building up through all these levels. So when it's time to start looking at the level for sales, you sit down, because you have the time and you built sequentially through this process, with a person to create a sales process. It sounds a little daunting. It kind of is, I'll be honest. But if you take the time to do it right, then you can work through this stage to have somebody else making sales while you're on the beach with the daiquiri in your hand. Now that's a beautiful day, but you jump ahead and you have somebody do this before you're ready, all hell will break loose. And you won't be on any beach with anything. You'll be back kissing everybody's ass that guy pissed off because they lied and they didn't tell the full truth. They didn't know what they were talking about. And they made promises that your company could have never fulfilled and nobody needed to make. So you wait until the second to the last before you get into ever delegating the sales to anybody but you. But it's doable and it's absolutely scalable. And if you sit down and create the process, you can have a sales process that runs seamlessly without you, that gets real close with the right compensation structure, the right checks and balances, so that no claims are made that you can't back up, and you have systems to oversee what they're doing, when they're doing it, why they're doing it, to make sure the marketing dollars turn into sales opportunities, turn into signed contracts. Now, once you get through this level, and if you already made it through this, then congratulations, because you're a free woman or man at this point. You have a business that creates revenue and generates demand, all without you being there. And you have built through this process a series of dashboards and reports and a cadence, like a rhythm of reporting back to you so you know what's going on without being present in the business. There is one more level to multiply the results of this machine that you've been building, and that's level 7, leadership. So what does it mean by leadership? If you truly want to step back and take money while you sleep or drink margaritas on the beach somewhere, then you need to hire a leader to replace you. This could be a CEO. It might be a chief operations officer or a general manager. This is the absolute final step. You only hand over the reins once every other level has been thoroughly built out with systems that are running and firmly in place. You jump the gun on this one and you hire a $120,000 a year COO when your business is only making $500,000 a year in profit, you're going to drown. Remember, you have to follow these levels in order to successfully build your business. Skipping levels will just burn years and hundreds of thousands. Trust me, I've burned them. But once you've got a leader at the helm, you can finally step completely out of the daily details. Your business transitions from being a nightmare job that relies on your blood, sweat, and tears into a highly profitable, self-sustaining asset that you can keep scaling to the moon or make an exit from, because it doesn't need the founder to be there. If you're ready to start leveling up your business, come over to Instagram and follow me at itsjustinlund. DM me the word blueprint and I'll send you my Google Doc that breaks down this whole process here for free. What level are you at with your business? Let me know in the comments and I'll respond to every one, and I'm super active in the DMs on Instagram as well, so you can hit me up over there also. Look forward to talking to you soon.